Hi there. I hope you're doing well. You're about to watch another Doom video on the internet. Doom was developed and published by id Software in 1993 for DOS. Then later it was re-released under the title The Ultimate Doom, with a shiny new fourth episode, Thy Flesh Consumed. And that's the version we're going to be talking about. Thanks to my good buddy Bazooka Joey. Be sure to follow him on Twitch. He does a lot of really awesome Doom streams. I'll link to his channel on screen and down in the doobly-doo. I have this lovely boxed copy of the game. Let's just grab that from the shelf here. Inside the box is all this lovely stuff. You've got the CD for the game, of course. You've got an installation guide for the game and an addendum for multiplayer. There's an upgrade rebate card, a registration card, if I can actually get a grip on that thing. The lovely in-game manual with all kinds of info on, let me get it open here, all kinds of info on weapons and items and other very useful information that manuals used to come with way back in the day. There's information on the rating system that was used back then, before what we have now, and all of that with also this lovely, lovely poster that I have yet to hang on my wall. I'm not even sure if I ever will. For this video, I've recorded footage from both DOSBox and the Unity port, since those two versions are what you get when you buy the game on Steam and or GOG, and the Unity port is what you get when you buy the game on consoles. And because I feel like both DOSBox and the Unity ports get kind of a bad rap, although showing you how to configure DOSBox to get it to look the way you want it to is outside the scope of this video. You'll just have to play around with the config file, do a little Google foo, and find what works best for you. And you might be thinking, why make a Doom video? Everyone's played Doom. But you'd be surprised. I've seen bunches of people in the Doom Discord server and in a bunch of Facebook groups I'm in say that they've either never played Doom or this is their first time ever playing Doom. So I figure, what's the harm in throwing my 2 cents in? When you start a new game, you'll see that it's divided into 4 different episodes. Knee Deep in the Dead, The Shores of Hell, Inferno, and Thy Flesh Consumed. As a kid, I only had the shareware version, Knee Deep in the Dead, but I played it over and over. I loved it. I wanted the SNES port just so I could experience the full game. I didn't know any better. I was 10. What do you want? Anyway, you start the game, then pick your difficulty. Pick whatever difficulty you're comfortable with, and as soon as the game begins, you hear the iconic E1M1 music. The premise of the game is incredibly simple. Get through 8 maze-like levels per episode, 9 per episode if you find the secret levels. Find colored keys to open locked doors, look for secrets that give you useful items, and shoot demons until they die. You start with a measly pistol that's kinda crap, and only useful in a pinch. But soon you'll get a shotgun, a chain gun, a rocket launcher, a plasma rifle, and eventually, the holy grail of Doom weapons, the BFG 9000. Oh yes. There's also a chainsaw, which is really useful for cutting down hordes of these bastards. Those are called pinkies, but they were originally just called demons. They move in and try to eat your face off. I'm honestly not sure when they started being called pinkies, but that's what they're called now, so that's what I'm going to call them. There's a partially invisible variant called the Spectre. Other demons you'll be killing are the zombie men and shotgun guys. One has a pistol and the other one has, you guessed it, a shotgun. You can tell the difference by the color of their clothes. Then there are imps who throw fireballs at you and claw you if you get too close. There's the Cacodemon, the design of which was based off the Astral Dreadnought from Dungeons & Dragons. It spits a ball of lightning or some such thing at you. Then there's the Lost Soul. My hatred for lost souls burns the white-hot intensity of 1,000 suns. They just fly all around, and I'm pretty sure their only reason for existence is to make sure I have a bad day. They are annoying, irritating, and I hate everything about them. The Baron of Hell serves as Knee Deep's in the Dead final boss. Two of them actually, known as the Bruiser Brothers, but becomes a regular enemy in later episodes. It throws a big green fireball at you, takes a lot to go down, and is capable of making you hurt badly. The boss of the Shores of Hell is the now iconic Cyber Demon, who fires incredibly damaging rockets at you and can take an absolutely obscene amount of punishment before dying. Then there's the Spider Mastermind, who is the boss of Inferno and Thy Flesh Consumed. I think the Spider Mastermind is much easier to kill than the Cyber Demon, but it's got a super chain gun, and the chain gun is a hit scan weapon, so it can wreck you pretty easily. One thing that sets Doom apart is that demons can fight each other if one of them ends up hitting another one. You can use this to your advantage, sitting back watching them fight as they rip each other apart, which saves you some ammo and possibly some health. Demons can never start a fight with a demon of the same type, but if you can get a demon to hit a different one, they'll start attacking each other until one of them is dead. There are items you can pick up to help you rip and tear your way through each level, including minor health bonus, which looks like a blue potion of some sort, and your Stimpak and Medkit to round out healing items. There's also the Soul Sphere, which instantly grants 100 hit points, up to a maximum of 200. Similar to health bonuses, you have the Armor bonus, and the Green Security Armor, which sets your armor to 100%, and the Blue Combat Armor, which sets your armor to 200%. The backpack increases your maximum ammo capacity and gives you a bit of ammo for each of your guns. The Berserk Pack sets your hit points to 100 if they were less than that, and powers up your fists so you can take lower tier enemies out with just a punch. The red tint on the screen when you pick up a Berserk Pack goes away after a little while, but the effects last for the remainder of the level. The computer map reveals the entire map of the level with areas you haven't been to yet in gray. There's the invulnerability artifact, which makes your screen go white and obviously makes you invulnerable to all damage for a short time. The light amplification visor, which lights up particularly dark areas of the level so you can actually see what you're doing. The blur artifact, partial invisibility, makes demons less accurate when trying to melt your face off, and the radiation suit gives your screen a green tint and protects you from hazardous floors. Another big thing that makes Doom stand out is its level design, which for the most part is really quite good, and I very rarely felt that any of it was unnecessarily complex, with enemy placements and weapon and item pickups in just the right areas. And it never got overwhelming, at least not in the first 3 episodes. Each episode has its own theme to it, except Thy Flesh Consumed. I'm still not entirely sure where they're going with that one, but more on that later. With Knee Deep in the Dead being a UAC outpost on Phobos, one of the moons of Mars. The Shores of Hell sees you in the UAC Deimos base, which has been consumed by Hell, and you start to see a lot more hellish environments. In Inferno, you're entirely in Hell, making your way through demonic structures and landscapes. You even get an overhead view of the general area, mapping your progress from level to level in between each. It's really cool. And at the end of each episode, you get a text screen that gives you a little more of what very little story is in Doom. It's there, but it's not that important. Even the secret levels are a lot of fun, and they can give you a weapon or two earlier than you'd normally get them. There's an overhead map if you get lost, revealing areas you've been to as you go there. The overhead map can even help you find some secrets, which all grant you something useful. The only times I felt a level was genuinely bad or overly complex was on Thy Flesh Consumed, particularly on the first few levels, Hell Beneath and Perfect Hatred, but also on E4, M7, and Hell Followed, which for some reason has locked doors that aren't marked to show you which keys unlock them, and this, at least to me, is nonsensical, and I'm putting that nicely. Thy Flesh Consumed also doesn't have an overhead view of the area in between levels like in the first 3 episodes. It's not a deal breaker, but it would have been nice to see, and it just furthers my confusion as to the kind of theme they were going for with the episode. It just kind of felt more like a random mishmash of levels than an actual part of Doom. There are some really good levels in there, but overall, meh. While the game can be pretty fast, and for its day was very fast, the original version did not have an always run option. If you want to run, you have to hold down the shift key, at least in DOSBox. It did, however, contrary to popular belief, support both keyboard and mouse, and you can remap the controls for WASD if you want. The Unity port does have the always run option. One of the things about the Unity port that will always just seem off to me is the red crosses on the health pickups are green now. I don't know the full details of why, I just know it was something to do with the red cross being mad about it. Other than that, the port is perfectly playable, and I don't have any real problems with it, other than it screaming at me if universe forbid I ever go offline for any reason, especially on my Switch. The sounds and music feel like they're a bit of a better quality, and it's a much smoother experience than in DOSBox. It is a little bit brighter overall than the DOSBox version, making specters slightly easier to see, but rooms that are supposed to be dark are still just as dark. Regardless of how you feel about the Unity ports, though, I think we can all agree that it's better than playing from the Doom 3 BFG edition. Seriously, this just feels bad to play. Anyway, if you're after a more genuine original experience, DOSBox is probably as good as you're going to get. A lot of people say they don't like it for one reason or another, but I think it works perfectly fine as long as you configure it to your liking. But if you're too lazy or just don't care enough to set up a source port, of which there are a great many to choose from, the Unity port is a perfectly fine and valid way to play both the base game and a ton of custom WADs. WAD stands for Where's All the Data. And that is a big part of why Doom is still played and talked about today. The ability to make your own custom levels and mod the crap out of it. There are so many custom levels and campaigns out there, and every one is a fresh experience. Hell, just a few years ago, John Romero released an unofficial episode 5, Sigil. You can play that one on the Unity port, or you can get it from his website and run it with the source port of your choice. He's currently working on a follow-up to Sigil. Should be interesting. I always wanted to get into making maps, but it always seemed so intimidating. I don't think I'd ever have any idea what I was doing, but I'm an idiot, so if you get into it, you'll probably do a hell of a lot better than I would. There are so many great custom levels out there, and I encourage you to try as many as you can. All this, of course, is without even mentioning the multiplayer. These days, you can, with a little work, get online multiplayer working on PC with a program called Doomseeker. But the Unity ports also come with local multiplayer. Why they don't support online multiplayer, I will never understand. But it's one big gripe I do have with that version. Steam Remote Play, which basically tricks the system into thinking you're playing locally, would be a good workaround, but I can't get it to work right, at least not for Doom. But as soon as a second player connects, all of my controls just stop responding. I wish online multiplayer was supported so I could play with friends without having to jump through a bunch of hoops. Overall, though, Doom's reputation is extremely well deserved. It's just such a great game. Sure, it's got a few quirks and flaws here and there, but you show me a perfectly flawless game and I will show you a purple flying unicorn. So to everyone in those Discord servers and Facebook groups who have said that they've never played Doom, I highly recommend it. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who wouldn't recommend it. And you can get it from Steam, GOG, or your console of choice for about $5, less if it's on sale. Less if it's on sale. And during the time of this recording, the Steam Summer Sale is on, so there you go. Let me know what you think about Doom in the comments down below. Let me know what your favorite source port is and why. And click on one of these things. One of them is another video of mine you can watch, and the other one is the subscribe button. If you hit the subscribe button, thank you. If you're already subscribed, thank you. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video and are still paying attention, thank you. I'll see you in the next one.